Hi, and welcome to the St. Genevieve Airstrip. My name is Steph Greminger. I'm with the St. Genevieve Flying Club, and this Jour de Fete weekend we are hosting a fly-in. It's an annual fly-in. We host a number of ultralights as well as gyrocopters. Of course, we have our annual model airplane show, too, that is coming up tomorrow evening. Right here, this plane here is flown by Cliff McBride, a member of the Gateway Ultralight Club. And tell us about your Challenger here.
Well, I built this thing about 4 years ago, and I've been looking at them for about 3 years before that, and I finally got enough money together to get the kit and build it.
We'll be talking to some of the other pilots about the unique characteristic of ultralight flying, but what do you see as the major differences, besides money and bigness of planes, between ultralights and regular aircraft? What would you tell the lay person about it?
Oh, I think there's a lot more freedom, and you don't have to file flight plans or anything like that. You just do your thing and have fun.
I think it's more fun flying, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. More fun flying.
Very good. What you see now is Charlie Mara. He's a member of the St. Louis Rotorcraft Club. He has an Air Command gyro, currently spinning up his blades, getting ready for takeoff roll. The gyro is a unique, very unique aircraft. It's highly maneuverable. It has its advantages and disadvantages over the ultralights, as you'll probably see as you see the different aircraft fly from time to time throughout this video. It takes a while to get those blades spinning. He has a pre-rotator going. It's got a Rotax engine on there. He'll get him spinning somewhat. He'll go to the end of the runway, then he'll turn around and start his takeoff roll. Unlike a helicopter, you do need takeoff roll to get this gyro in the air, unlike a helicopter, which can jump takeoff. Charlie is one of our veteran pilots. Tends to try and do a number of aerobatic maneuvers with his plane as well. He's going slow right now so that he doesn't overrun his blades. The blades are slowly picking up speed. As they pick up speed, they also pick up lift, and that's what takes the aircraft off the ground. He's left the ground doing a low crow hop, pick up more speed, then he'll probably zoom it up. There he goes. He'll probably do a low pass around here. They can turn on a dime. We call it the mean green flying machine. Doing a high-speed pass. As he lowers the nose, he picks up speed, which allows him to then roller coaster ride it up into the air, which shows you how maneuverable the gyro is. He's playing around a little bit there. He's from Carlinville, Illinois. He flew down to St. Genevieve from Carlinville. So while you do have to make some gas stops, it is a cross-country machine. Even though you're in the wide open, there's no reason why you can't fly long distances. You just have to make several stops in between. You can see how highly maneuverable that is. Most of the pilots love it down here because the terrain is suitable to their type of flying. They can roll around the trees, they can dip low to the what is normally crops, but we have weeds this year because of the spring flood, which is great. They've got plenty of landing spaces. That's one thing with both ultralights and gyros and any aircraft in particular. You need to keep a landing space under you because you never know when these two-cycle engines will quit. But in the event they do, you just take them down to the ground. We've got another plane taking off here, getting ready to take off. And that is a Kolb, K-O-L-B Mark III. Now that is an experimental aircraft. It resembles more of an ultralight than a regular airplane, but it does exceed the weight limitations and fuel capacity limitations that is under the ultralight restriction. So it is an experimental aircraft, must be licensed by the FAA. That's a two-seater, of course. He's got a passenger. Most of the two-seaters are considered experimental. The ultralight category is somewhat limited. For instance, the plane can't weigh more than 254 pounds. You can't carry more than 5 gallons of fuel, and you can't exceed 54 miles per hour in speed. Now that plane that he's flying there will exceed all three of those categories. It is much heavier than 254 pounds. It carries probably 12 gallons of fuel, and he can probably cruise at about 70, 75 miles per hour in that plane. But it is the type of plane, he's got a trailer on field here. He just folds it up, he takes it home. So that's one of the advantages of these very light aircraft. There he is on takeoff roll. Doesn't take him much, even though it's a heavy plane. And he likes to do the max climb out. That's Gary Stevens piloting that two-seat Kolb Mark III. He is a pilot for TWA. Going up and cooling off for a while. Fella starting his engine now, Bob Karpinski. He's also a member of the Gateway Ultralight Club, and he's got a very early model ultralight. It's called an Eagle, and it's got the canard out in front. That's the way the Wright brothers started. You see that little dog there? That's his dog, and the dog loves to fly with him. It's not an abusive situation. The dog will willingly jump into his lap, and you'll see him go for a ride here. If the dog isn't flying with him, then he's waiting on the ground anxiously for his master to return, and he'll run out to the plane and greet him. He's getting ready to take off with his little dog. That's Bob Karpinski again in the Eagle. Now the Eagle is an extremely light aircraft. Now Bob, he's been flying for years and years, so it doesn't bother him, but these really light aircraft do have their trouble in the wind from time to time. They're very there he goes. And the dog just sits there, he loves it. I forget what kind of dog he said that is, but it's a flying dog right now. We'll watch him fly here for a bit. I don't know if Bob will do it. Sometimes he'll cut his engine all the way back and you can hear him talk to the ground. He'll yell down to different people. He might be doing that. Here he comes in. he's trying to get the dog to wave.
That dog loves to fly better than Bob.
He loves to fly better than Bob, huh? If he had wings. Looks like he might be turning in here for a final, perhaps, or maybe just a slow flyby. Got a lot of activity here at the St. John Airstrip this weekend. Of course, we invite spectators to come by at just about any time they see some activity over here. We have a lot of model airplane activity for the most part during the weeknights. He'll be coming back around pretty soon, I'm sure. Getting ready to take off now is another member of the Gateway Ultralight Club. Now, this plane certainly is not an ultralight. It's called an Avid Flyer, and it is an experimental aircraft. It seats 2 people. It's Daryl Young piloting. See, it's like a regular airplane pretty much. It is much lighter than one, but it still looks like and flies like a regular airplane. Here with me now is Keith Sullivan. He's the owner of this Flight Star.
Keith who?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not Sullivan.
Okay, Steph.
Correct me.
Keith Smith. Yeah.
I forgot Smith.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't believe it. Tell us about your Flight Star.
Well, this airplane was designed in the early 80s by Pioneer Parachute. Who also built the original recovery system for the space shuttle, which so it's not just a backyard basement operation. It was a major corporation that built it and designed it. A lot of work. And the airplane's been built in the United States, in Argentina, and is back in the United States again. In fact, it, under the name of Pampas Bull, Avistar was the only ultralight ever rated for aerobatics in Argentina. This particular one has made the trip to Oshkosh, Wisconsin and back, and it has flown all over the Midwest.
Yeah, you certainly have flown all over.
It goes everywhere. If you can't get there by flying, it doesn't go.
Well, I was talking about one of the gyro pilots had flown in here from Carlinville, Illinois. A lot of people don't think that these small, very light aircraft are capable of making cross-country trips.
Oh no, I'm very comfortable in this. In fact, if I had to fly in a strong wind, I would prefer to be in this as opposed to a Cessna 150 or a 172 or any of the bigger spam can, as they call them.
You would, and why is that?
Well, it handles the crosswinds better because there's not as much area. It'll actually fly in a stronger wind with better control. And if I had a problem, I can literally land this airplane in a ball diamond.
And you have.
Well, just about.
I guess we won't mention the time that you landed at Scott Air Force Base.
It's kind of it's been a couple years.
Yeah, it's one of the legends of the Gateway Ultralight Club, no
Right.
doubt.
Okay.
Now, getting back to the cross countries, really all you need to do is more advanced planning because you need to make more stops.
Yeah, basically make sure you've got enough oil or you've got it set up to where you're going that has oil for your 2-cycle engine, and plan in advance to have enough distance or time to get to each airport so you don't run low. Plan for an extra 30 minutes of fuel or so.
What do you say to conventional pilots who fly large aircraft and they have to go up 5,000–10,000 feet and they can't do these low-level flying maneuvers that these planes are doing today? Can you tell them the fun that they miss?
Well, I've driven those trucks before, and I still do periodically, but it's kind of like the difference between getting out of a Mack truck and jumping into a sports car.
The ultralights being
oh yeah,
the sports car.
absolutely. It's like they're more maneuverable in the sense of you can do it in a smaller area. You don't have to use up the entire country you can do everything you want to do in the length of the runway here at the airport, just about, if you really want to. And you drop down on the deck, and there's nothing better than doing 60 miles an hour with the corn on each side of you just about. And
You were once former president of the Gateway Club, and I'm sure you've answered all kinds of questions. And for our Channel 7 audience today, how do you address the safety aspect when people say, oh, are these planes safe?
I can check every bolt on this airplane before I take off. There's not one general aviation airplane that I can inspect. They call an annual what we call a pre-flight. When we get in, we check the entire airplane. What they call a pre-flight, we consider just looking at it. And it's the airplane, the current technology, in my opinion, is very safe. It affords you a lot of protection in the event something were to happen, and many of the modern ultralights, including this one, include what they call crumple zones, as most people know from cars. And if you were to crash one, which if it flies, it can hit the ground, but and it will protect you somewhat. In the case of this one, I have a 4-point restraint. The airplane I learned to fly in, which was a licensed airplane, had a seat belt.
Yeah.
And and the airplane will handle. I've flown this particular one in 30-mile-an-hour dead crosswinds. To a lot of people, that won't mean anything, but the crosswind component, or direct crosswind 90 degrees, you can take with a Cessna 150, which is one of the most popular instructing airplanes around, is 15 miles an hour is what the book says. And I've flown this one in 30.
Is that right?
With no problem. And so as far as safety goes, I can get it in and out of a ball diamond if I have to. I can handle winds. I've flown to Oshkosh, Wisconsin and back, and in fact we're planning to fly to Sun and Fun in Lakeland, Florida this next year.
Sounds
and
great.
I fly all over. I really don't see a safety concern with the current state-of-the-art airplanes, which this is still considered state-of-the-art.
Okay, well, thanks, Keith. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Enjoy.
Okay, I'm gonna go fly.
Okay, we'll be looking forward to watching you. We're gonna come over here and walk over to Bob Karpinski, his Eagle plane, and his dog. Find out how this dog came to be a flying dog. We'll just show a couple of minutes of the gyro in the air. We'll get back to him. Hey, Bob, come on over here. What's your dog's name, by the way?
Well, this is Samuel. One of his friends is Sammy.
Sammy, huh? Hey, what do you think about flying, huh? This is Bob Karpinski, also a member of the Gateway Ultralight Club. How did this dog come to fly?
Well, Sam would follow me up and down the runway frequently, almost to the point of complete exhaustion. So I decided one day he hopped up on my lap and we taxied up and down a few times. He seemed comfortable in it, and we went up in the air. So he didn't get airsick or anything, and each time...
Has he ever tried to jump out?
Well, no, he's never made he seems like he knows he shouldn't jump out, you know, so he stays fairly close. I keep him strapped into my belt, and he seems each time we go up to get more and more comfortable. He gives me subtle hints when he wants to come down.
Oh, like what?
Well, he'll kind of get up and let the wind push him back into my chest, and he tucks his head up under my shoulder, because I guess the engine's too loud. I haven't gotten any earplugs for him yet. So.
I don't know that they make those for dogs, Bob.
No, but I think we could have some made for this case.
Well, that's great.
He enjoys it.
How long you been flying this Eagle here?
I've logged almost 600 hours in the Eagle, and Sam's logged, well, after today, probably a little over 2 hours. So.
You have a logbook for him?
No, well, no, I don't, but it's a good idea. We could always have him sign off with a paw print.
You never know when you might want to go for another rating, you know.
You never know. I could get instructional here.
That's right. Okay, thanks, Bob, so much.
You're welcome.
All right, we're kind of following in the sky here, another gyrocopter. This is, well, I'm not sure the make or model of his plane. It's highly modified. He built it himself. He's changed it a number of times over the year. That's Carl Schneider flying, also a member of the St. Louis Rotorcraft Club. He's from Iowa, and he trailers his gyro just about everywhere he goes. Not that he couldn't fly it, it's just he tends to want to take his home with him. He has a motor home and makes it quite nice for him when he goes to California for fly-ins or Florida for fly-ins or what have you. He's a dairy farmer by trade, so that kind of affords him the flexibility of being able to attend the various fly-ins around the country. He tries to make this one every year. Here's Keith Smith taking off in his Flight Star. Got Gary Stevens coming around here for a landing in his Cold Mark III. Here comes Carl around. He'll probably do a low pass here, I assume, or maybe a touch and go, or maybe a full stop. His plane is probably one of the most maneuverable that we have on the field today. He can probably travel at about 100 miles per hour. And he's got so much power there that he can whip that plane around like there's no tomorrow. He can turn that on a dime. All a buzz over at the St. Genevieve Airstrip. Again, we invite listeners and watchers of Channel 7 to come out to the field sometime and see the activity. We normally don't have this much activity, but it is a Jour de Fete weekend, and it is an annual fly-in that we have. There's primarily a lot of model activity, model airplanes. You can see that just about any weeknight and weekend when the weather is decent. Here comes the Mark III in. He's doing a touch and go with one wheel, showing that those are quite capable of doing some aerobatics there. Again, that's Gary Stevens flying that Mark III, TWA pilot. Now he can really rotate that plane around single seat. It's a little more maneuverable. Let's keep our eye on the gyro right here for a minute if we could. Show you how capable he is of turning that plane on a dime. Again, he's got a lot of power with that plane, so he's able to do that. Some of the gyros don't have quite that much power, so they can't whip it around like he does. But that can really turn on a dime. Doing a touch and go with the gyro. Watching around for other traffic. To the spectator, it might seem like things are a little congested, but these are all quite accomplished pilots. They know where to look, when to look, how to look, so they don't get into trouble with the other aircraft. And it's no doubt a lot cooler up there than it is on the ground. While the activity is going on behind us, we'll talk a little bit to Greg Reminger, my husband, who is the president of the St. Genevieve Flying Club, president of the St. Louis Rotorcraft Club, and member of the Gateway Ultralight Club. So you're involved with all this stuff, aren't you?
You didn't tell them that you're the secretary-treasurer.
Ah, well, that's neither here nor there. Now, this is your Air Command, which you've highly modified. If people saw it from its original state, they probably wouldn't recognize it. And you call it now the High Command. Lots of noise in the background. Tell them what changes briefly that you made to this plane.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, first of all, I raised the landing gear and put a larger prop on it, and the propeller, by being a larger diameter propeller, is more efficient. And in order to put a larger diameter propeller, I had to lower the landing gear and raise the whole gyro a little taller for the taller propeller to reach the fit top and bottom. And at the same time I lowered the landing gear, I put these streamlined struts on it, that lowers the air friction and lets it fly a little faster or more efficiently. Then I guess the next thing I did was to put a clutch in the gearbox. Most propellers, you can't turn them like that because they're connected to the engine. This has a clutch in it so that it allows you to actually stop the propeller while the engine's still running.
What are some of the most commonly asked questions that people ask you about the gyrocopter?
What do you do if the engine quits?
Tell them, what do you do if the engine quits?
You kiss something goodbye.
You do not.
No, it'll glide down about a 4-to-1 glide ratio, and you can land it anywhere that there's an open space if the engine quits. In fact, that's happened 4 or 5 times to me, and so I get a lot of practice.
People looking at your plane, they'll say, well, where's the gas? Why don't you point that out?
The gas is, most gyrocopters carry their gas in the seat tank. That's a tank, holds 5 gallons. This one has extra tanks on it, long-range tanks, so I can hold an extra 7 gallons and have a range of about 100 miles.
You also put the pod on this plane recently, and what did that do for you?
Right, I put the nose pod on it to streamline it to get a little better speed and a little less power. It gained about 10 miles an hour and a little less power to do 10 miles an hour. So it cruises on cross countries a little bit better.
We had talked to Keith Smith earlier, who was a former president of the Gateway Ultralight Club, about the safety aspects of his plane. He has the Flight Star Ultralight. Tell us a little bit about the safety aspects of the gyrocopter.
Well, the gyrocopters are capable of landing in very tight areas, much smaller areas than an aircraft. They can land at 0 speed.
Even the ultralight's a lot smaller area.
Even a little bit smaller area than ultralights. You can stop a gyrocopter just above the ground. You can stop it in midair and let it plop down onto the ground, so you don't have to have any forward speed. In fact, that's how I handled 2 of my emergency landings when the engine quit. It was over plowed fields, and if I'd had any forward speed, it probably would tumble. So I just stopped it in midair and let it drop the last 6 inches, and everything was fine.
You're also, as we mentioned, president of the St. Genevieve Flying Club. And like myself, we invite all residents around and listeners and watchers of Channel 7 to come on out to our field.
Right. We're glad to have visitors. We've got a lot of model airplanes flying every night. And every night that it's nice, and we'll probably be over here with one of either the ultralight or our ultralight or this gyro out flying.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, we hope you enjoyed your aerial view from this, our Colt Twin Star. My husband was piloting, Greg Reminger. We took a tour kind of over town, and we got to see some planes air to air. These are the smaller planes from General Aircraft, the ultralights and the gyrocopters. In our next segment, we'll talk about even smaller airplanes, the RCs, or model airplanes. Hi, Steph Greminger back again here at the St. Genevieve Flying Strip. And right now we're going to focus on recreation called model airplaning, or RC recreation, or what do you call it, Clarence?
RC flying.
RC flying, good enough. Clarence Uding is our guest right now. He's a member of the St. Gen Flying Club, and he's got a couple of planes here that he's learned to fly. How long have you been flying, by the way, Clarence?
This will be my third year. One year I flew very little. Well, during the flood, nobody flew really.
That's right. That's right.
So
but it's a hobby
really
you wanted.
2 years.
It's a hobby you wanted to pursue after,
Yes.
you retired and
Yes.
been looking at it for a long time. Tell us about your planes here.
Well, they're both SIG models. They're box kits. I started that one there about 3 years ago, and I flew it the first time in '94, later part of '94. And I haven't had much experience in flying yet, but there's a lot of good teachers out here. I'm sure I'll learn.
So these are not the most difficult planes to fly. They're more of a beginner, perhaps,
That is
trainer.
right. They're trainers.
Okay, great.
And that's about as far as I'll get.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. How long did it take you to build these kits?
Well, probably around 3 months on each one.
That long, really?
Yeah.
Have you had to
Slow.
rebuild any parts of them?
Once in, yeah, you know better than that.
It happens
corn,
to the
yeah,
best of us. Yeah,
yeah.
corn gets us from time to time, doesn't it?
We don't have no car now, though.
This is wonderful flying right now, isn't it? What do you like best about flying RC?
Well, it's something I can really do while I'm retired. I don't like to do what I've been doing, and it's too tough for me in these hot weather.
Now, did you fly conventional aircraft at one
No,
time?
I took a couple lessons and then I quit.
Then you quit.
Well, yes. I'll tell you the rest of it later.
Very fine. All right, Clarence, thank you so much, and we'll be seeing you fly in a bit.
Well, hope so.
Okay. We're talking now to a couple of visitors to our St. Gen Flying Strip, and we're more than happy to have them. A couple of RC flyers from the Illinois side of the river. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Bill Lang from Chester, Illinois, president of the Breezy Hill Radio Control Model Airplane Club.
And you are?
And my name's Glenn Curtin from Modoc, Illinois, and I'm a member of Chester Breezy Hill Flying Club.
Take the ferry over?
Yeah, I took the ferry right across the river.
Shortest route between 2 points, right? Tell us about your planes here.
Well, the bright orange one is a SIG 4-star. It's a 45 powered sport aerobatic airplane. And the smaller one is a 25 powered Ace 420. It's also a sport aerobatic airplane, just a fun airplane to fly around. We getting ready for the big Popeye Air Show over there for the Popeye Festival, and Mr. Rutherford invited us over here. He's flown with us, so we thought turnabout was fair play. We'd come over and help fly with them on their Jour to Fete.
Well, we're certainly happy to have you. What's with the duck?
Well, there's certain model airplanes around here with jet engines they call ducted fan. Well, this is my ducted fan. Occasionally, he has a tendency to quack up, but...
Well, jokes aren't your forte, right?
No.
What do you like best about RC flying?
Well, I like it. It gives me a chance to work with my hands. I do a lot of woodworking, and I've always had a fond place in my heart for airplanes, and the RC models is about as close to flying the real thing as you can get. In fact, it's a little harder. I'm teaching a guy that's got his pilot's license, and so far he hasn't been able to handle one of these by himself yet.
It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
No, it's not. You don't want to recommend anybody just to go out and try to buy one and fly it, because you'll waste a lot of time and money. It's always good to get an instructor that knows what they're doing, and it'll save your airplane and give you a lot more fun.
Kids, don't try this at home, right?
Right.
Okay, thanks. We'll be looking forward to watching your planes fly.
Thanks.
Glenn, tell us about your plane.
I'm flying a SIG Cadet Senior, and it's got a .46 OS engine on it, and it's a really good trainer. I really like it. I've been starting to fly the beginning of this spring.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Are you?
Yeah.
Great.
And
Starting young.
Bill's my instructor, and he helps me out a lot. And I bought this from one of the club members over there in Chester.
And you built, you bought it from a,
Yeah,
so you haven't actually built a kit yet?
Well, I've built a few. I built a glider and a smaller plane. I built smaller rubber band models, but this is the biggest plane I've owned.
Tell us about that little teeny tiny one there.
Oh, that's a little scale.
Why don't you hold it up for our cameraman? And you built that for?
I built that for a VICA project, if you know what high schools,
Sure,
Vocational Industrial Clubs of America,
Right.
for a display model state competition, and it's a Piper J3, and it's what they call a peanut scale rubber band model. It's under 13 inches in wingspan.
Now, do they make RCs that small?
Well, I've never personally been around them. They have micro radios, but no, I don't think that's small.
Not that small. Well, it goes with this plane, so that's why you keep it nearby, huh? Color coordinated.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Glenn. We'll be looking forward to watching you fly. Right now we're talking to Ike Rutherford, who has been flying model airplanes for quite a long time. In fact, he is a member of the St. John Flying Club who has flown model airplanes the longest, I think. How long have you been flying, Ike?
I would say about 40 years, probably.
And you also flew general aircraft as well.
Yes.
All right, tell us what you got here, Ike.
Well, the one just ahead of us is a Great Plains semi-scale F-15 Eagle. You notice it's a prop job, so it's kind of the poor man's jet. It's sort of a sports job. It's not a real high-performance plane, but it's all I want to handle.
How fast would this go?
Oh, I'd say probably 70, 80 miles an hour.
That's fast enough for an RC.
It's not in the 100-mile range, but something less than that.
Which they do make RCs that do that, don't they?
Oh, sure. Yeah. But this is a slower jet.
What else you got there?
That's a Junior Tiger. That one's probably 15 years old, and it's, as you can see from the patches, it's seen a lot of flights. In fact, it's seen several of these Jour de Fete fly-ins, if you remember. That's the two I brought. And of course, I've got my round to it over there in the car, which
that'll be cute to watch fly.
I think you're a favorite or
It's
something
a crowd
of
pleaser,
mine.
yeah. Now, these are just a few of your planes. You've got many sitting in your basement, don't you?
I always try to keep 3 or 4 ready to go.
You tend to go to these, what are they called, swap shots, I think, a lot?
Well, swap meets and flea markets. There's all different kinds. There's tailgate swap meets, and McDonald has a big one, a huge one in St. Louis every year. And we, swap our junk for somebody else's junk.
Yeah. When people come up to the airstrip and are watching you guys fly or the ultralights or what have you, they always ask about, well, how do you get into RC flying or whatever? And we always sick them on you.
Yeah, I noticed that.
You've trained the majority of our members here, haven't you?
Well, several, yeah. I guess some of them I don't claim, of course. But,
who don't have a plane here currently.
Most of them have helped, but not, not any expert teacher or anything, but we do.
Well, experience is the best teacher, right?
Right.
Tell us about some of the training methods. Now, I know you have a buddy system whereby the radios, we'll talk about and zoom in on a radio here sometime yet before we're over.
Well,
but
we try to get the people to start with this low, slow plane, plane similar to Clarence's senior cadet here. That's almost a perfect trainer. And the next one there is a perfect next plane. So, and Clarence has done real well.
They're more of a slower plane.
Yeah.
They have more time to react to it.
Right, and they'll kind of self-correcting. If you get in trouble, you just kind of turn all the controls loose, and they will tend to correct themselves if you give them a chance.
Very forgiving.
So that's why we try to fly 2 mistakes high.
2 mistakes high. Well, that sounds like a good rule of thumb.
And we try to encourage the people to build their own, because we feel like they make a little better pilot quicker. Learning the ropes just seem like they do a little better if they build them themselves. And you're going to patch them
You know, if you fly, you're going to pass.
You're bound to, aren't
That's
you?
right. If nothing else, just hanger rash, getting them in and out of your car or something of that
Sure,
sort.
sure.
But you'll have little mishaps and big mishaps too, as you've seen numerous samples of
Oh
each.
yeah, sure. Yeah, we've seen some spectacular crashes, I think.
Yeah. And of course, the crowd, when we do that at a show, they say, "Do it again, do it again."
Oh, of course, of course. And they don't realize that you've just lost $100 or in many cases a lot more. What if someone is interested in getting into model airplaning? What type of cost can they be looking at?
Well, something like this Cadet, we're talking about around $400 for the plane, radio, engine,
the whole works.
and then a nominal support equipment. You have to have well, you almost have to have a starter and a panel and a glow plug lighter, or starter they call it. But somewhere around $400. Now, of course, you can go up or down from that.
Sure. And I guess you can buy used ones at garage sales or wherever and get by a little cheaper sometimes too. But they have to be willing to commit, you know, a few dollars to getting into this hobby.
Sure. It's not a fly-by-night deal just where you on a whim. But even at that, that's no expense compared to some hobbies, you know. I'm not going to knock any because I may somebody may.
Bigger the boys, the bigger the toys, right?
Right. But,
what do you like best about flying the models? You're here, down here. Boy, people can see you down here just about any good night. You're down here.
I enjoy flying them, or I enjoy watching the others fly. Just I've been interested in airplanes all my life, of course, and it's just satisfying to see something fly, even though it's not my own. Of course, exceptionally satisfying if it's my own and it flies good, and you make it do about what you want it to. But,
yeah, there's a lot of satisfaction, I would imagine, in building a kit yourself from the ground up, and if you're a beginner, following the directions to the T and getting everything working and actually seeing it in the air.
Right, and that is the one thing that people miss if they buy ready to fly or buy one from. So we kind of recommend that people build at least one. Then they know what goes into it and what's involved.
Right. Well, Ike, you certainly have brought a variety of planes with you down here over the course of the summers.
We have quite a assembly here today.
Yeah, we do. Should be fun. Should be fun.
Chester and
all right.
Our Perryville contingency, they've kind of got delayed. One Jim's out.
Right now we're talking to Don Hurchin, and he's one of our St. Genevieve Flying Club members, and you were just testing your elevator there, I suppose, with your remote control here. Is that correct?
Yes, making sure all the surfaces work before I go up, so that when they're working down here, they should be working up there. So
let's show our audience a close-up of your radio here. Just kind of hold it out for our cameraman. Maybe you can explain some of those dials and doodads on there.
okay, this is their servos, and they use multiple channel.
Servos, for practical purposes, is the engine of the airplane, correct?
Well, it gives you the controls to the aircraft.
Okay.
So it's like being in the airplane and having the stick in hand, except the stick's down here. If you pull back on the stick, this is affecting what they call the elevator, which controls the back, gives your plane attitude up or down. And then pull it back like this would be just like the guy in the plane pulling the stick back in the airplane, send his nose up in the air or his tail down, creating an attitude to go up if he has the thrust. And then this is down. And then the next channel, this left to right motion here, covers the flaps on the end of the wings of the airplane there, tilting the plane left or right. So if you want to go on a left turn, you would simply pull this over to the left. The plane would lean over to the left, and then you start your left turn. This control right here is the throttle control. You won't see it working, but it controls how fast the motor's running, much like a throttle to a car or plane.
You just hope that one's working, right?
That's right. I hear it, but I don't see it. And then, of course, here's your rudder control. I use that a lot on takeoff or in banks and turn. It moves the tail of the plane left or right, and can be used in like knife edges or other things, which are maneuvers. But a lot on takeoff to make sure you go straight down the runway or come down and land and then maneuver.
Don, what kind of plane you got here?
This is a Dragon Lady. They call it a Dragon Lady BHP. It's a low-wing aircraft with it's more or less for aerobatics, but it's not as. It's also an easy flyer. It's capable of slow flight, which is fun too.
Great. Okay, we're going to move right on over here to Don's brother, in fact, Mike Hurchin. Who's older?
Don's older.
Don's the old man here. Okay, did you both get into RCs at the same time?
Yeah, we did. We picked it up last year, and we've enjoyed it quite a bit, actually.
Great. Trained by Ike, I might add, who's
Yeah.
trained most of our flyers here. What is all this stuff in these? Everyone seems to have the same type of box of equipment here. Why don't you point out just a couple of things for us?
Okay, well, right here, this is the starter. We use these to spin the propellers. That way you don't have to get your hands involved, and it's a safety feature. This right here is a glow plug activator. It's actually what gives the motor its initial firing. Little battery cell on the back. This is a control panel that operates an electric fuel pump for the gas tank here. It delivers fuel to the aircraft, and just miscellaneous items. Cleaner.
Always a must.
Yeah.
Extra propellers, I see.
Right. Yeah, you got to be prepared for contingencies.
There you go. What kind of plane do you have here, Mike?
That's a Carl Goldberg Extra 300.
Okay, we'll be looking forward to seeing it fly. Now we got one more person over here we'll talk to for just a moment here. Wayne Mueller. What kind of plane do you have here, Wayne?
That's a tower trainer. It's a 4-channel trainer for beginners. It's my son's plane, actually.
Oh, really? Is this your son here?
Yes, it is.
And your name?
Derek.
Have you actually flown, Derek?
A few times.
Yeah. Is your dad teaching you how?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
Pretty fun.
You think so?
Yeah.
Did you help build this?
Yeah.
So you know quite a bit about it then, huh?
Yeah.
What do you like best about flying the RCs?
I don't know.
It's just a lot of fun,
Yeah.
huh? Wayne, you're one of our newer members. You haven't been flying that long, but you got the bug pretty quick, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I got it within a few months. In fact, my third training flight I sold.
Great.
I've been flying for about a year now.
You build one kit, which leads to another kit, which
Yeah,
leads to another kit.
My wife bought me a kit called the Ultrasport 1000, in the process of building it now. Started last year and still haven't finished it.
All in good time.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Wayne.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the St. Genevieve Flying Club for our annual Jour de Fete RC Air Show. Thanks for coming tonight. I know it's hot, but we're going to have fun anyway. To start off our show, we have our guest singer, Lindsay Rapp. Her father is a member of the club, and she is going to sing for us, God Bless the USA. If we could ask everyone to stand, please.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, you'd work for all your life and had to start again with just your children and your wife. You could thank your lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
That's Lindsay Rapp, going into the 7th grade this term. Nice hand. Thank you, Lindsay. Very good job. All right, let's get things started. Ike, you're kind of coordinating things with our pilots. Who do we have first on takeoff roll? He's been flying for quite a while, as I understand it, as well. Now that's the place to be. Look at that breeze out there. That's really like why you guys like flying these things, right? You get a breeze.
Yeah, but that's
Cool
full of
job.
gasoline.
Yeah, and that, what is that fuel anyway? It's like kerosene and something, isn't it?
It's nitromethane.
Not
quite kerosene.
Has a wonderful scent, let me
I love
tell
the
you.
smell, I really do.
You do.
I do. Takes me back.
Takes you back. Here he is on takeoff roll. That's a nice looking plane. This is just the best time of the day for an air show. You don't have to squint as you look up into the sky. Sun's at our back. Some of our pilots flying here today, they've been flying for quite a while, so the wind isn't a very big factor for them. Some of our more beginner pilots, they tend to be a little more cautious in the wind and sometimes wait for a little calmer nights. It may calm down here before sundown. Yeah. Little tail slide, I guess you'd call that, Donnie?
I would call it a tail
Is that what
slide,
you call it? Good,
Yeah.
okay.
Wasn't that less sensitive?
Doesn't matter. The detail that goes into these things, he's even got those nice little wheel pants on there and rolls, barrel rolls. How many can he do? Anyone counting? Kind of makes me dizzy there. And a lot, a whole lot. You could just do those all day, couldn't you, John?
Some of us can't fly without doing that.
Whether you mean to or not. Huh? While we watch John fly here, let me mention that we are going to raffle off an airplane ride in the Kolb Twin Star that's parked on the other side of the tent for kids 16 and under. We kind of like to give them a first flight type of thing, and the proceeds will just help out the field expenses a little bit. So if you'd like to take out a raffle ticket if you're 16 and under on an airplane ride, come see me at the announcer booth.
Are you gonna
He's
pilot
getting
it?
fancy now. No, Greg Reminger will pilot it. Look at that. Look at that. How low can he go? We should have had a string across
yeah, we
there.
should have a limbo.
Limbo,
Not
huh?
limbo. Limbo.
Not Rush Limbaugh, limbo.
Limbo.
Oh, you know, I wondered what dropped there. He lost a wheel. Oh, this should be good. You're going to have to do a one-wheel landing?
He's going to have to do something.
Oh, now this will be interesting. A hush comes over the crowd.
This is why we're all here, right?
This is it. This is it. This is the excitement right now. Oh, you can see that. What? Look under there, folks. Yeah, the wheel is gone. Has this happened to you before, John? He's busy right now.
Takes concentration.
He's thinking about how he's going to do this. A one-wheel landing. This should be good. I don't think I've ever seen this.
No, I haven't either. And I got a feeling I don't want to see it.
Snap roll there. guys walking down the field trying to find that wheel.
A lot of good that'll do.
Yeah, they can find it, but it's not going to do much good on landing unless they happen to have really good aim and throw it right up there.
Might save him a few bucks so you don't have to buy another one.
Oh, well, this is true. This is true. We invite spectators to come over to our flying field anytime they see some activity over here. We enjoy having the visitors. Be sure and ask questions if you're interested in RC models, and any one of our pilots will be happy to fill you in on what it takes to get started and some of the finer points.
For him, so he doesn't tear it up as much. The weeds are very thick over here. What he could do is he could stall it, mush it into the weeds.
I think he's already doing it.
Well, shit, he's committed now.
We have a dead stick as well. Ooh. Is he good or what? Let's give a hand. Oh, up on the nose, but no problem.
That was excellent.
John Hunsaker. Boy, that was good. What a challenge. One wheel and dead stick.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a much worse landing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Whoa.
Unique takeoff.
It has a rather realistic appearance, I think.
Yeah, it does. Except for the prop, I guess.
Yeah, that's the only difference with this plane in that it is a prop instead of a fan jet. This plane is available in a fan jet.
I was just going to say, they actually do have jet RCs, don't they?
Twin-engine fan jets. So far, we haven't gotten brave enough, I guess, in the club to try fan jets.
Well, those, you're talking lots of money there, aren't you?
Yeah, we had one member. What was his name? Pop Sickle? Pop Pistol? Joe.
Joe, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's off in the better things. He's no longer in the territory.
Yeah, I wonder if he's flying that jet right now. Boy, that can get up there, can't it? What's the typical range? How high do you fly these? How far out can you fly these?
As long as you can see it.
As long as you can see it. Once you can't see it, you're pretty well out of radio control. Is that correct?
Not necessarily, but the limiting factor is you just can't see it. You can't tell what's up, what's down, what's coming towards you, what's going away from you.
And if it just keeps going and going and going, you know there's something wrong with your radio.
Yeah, after a while you just lose.
That happened to you, as I recall,
yeah,
didn't it?
It did.
Just kind of went sailing over town, didn't
Over
it?
town, yeah. You have to turn on the switch.
Minor detail.
Minor detail, yeah.
Oh, that looks pretty up there. They have to keep this grass mode relatively short for those models. It might have been a little bit too long right there for Ike there. In fact, when he took off with that, had those very thin landing gear legs.
Don't the ultralights have to take up a longer landing strip in order to take off? I would imagine it would affect the little ones too to some degree.
Sure, sure.
With this hot weather.
That was your photo opportunity on that flyby there, folks. Again, we thank you for coming out on such a hot night to the St. John Flying Club's annual model airplane show, but we sure appreciate you coming.
How many have we done now, Stephanie?
You know, I've totally lost count. I know it's been 5 at least, don't you think?
At least 5.
Right? Something like that. We were for a year or two having like 2 a year, but doggone floods kept getting in the way. Here he comes on landing, I believe. Look at that. Oh, touch and go. All right. Looks good up there. After our pilots are done flying tonight, be sure and come up and ask any questions that you might have. Look over their planes, maybe. Thank you.
You didn't say anything, did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. We thought it was.
What's the deal?
we will not have the RC helicopter.
Oh, we won't.
They're still looking for the wheel out there. Looks like we have everyone's going down there to look for the wheel.
You may never find that one.
I know. Not till winter when the grass or weeds are dead.
We've lost mufflers and never found them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Probably lost a number of pieces and have never found them.
Yeah.
Throttling way back here. Could be a landing, could be a touch and go. 2 touch and goes. Ike likes to land them very close to him so he doesn't have to work up a sweat going and pick. The Breezy Hill RC Club, as they're called. One final engine run up there. There he goes, takeoff roll. And he's up. Boy, that looks pretty up there, doesn't it? So many of these RCs seem to be yellow. Is that a favorite color?
Well, judging by the number we have, it does look like it's a good color, but personally I like white. I think white really shows up better and against the blue sky as well as the overcast.
Uh-huh.
Some of these colors don't show up real well. You'd think they would, but when you get them up in the sky, they sometimes look like a silhouette or even black shadow against the sky.
Now
what's that?
What scale is this?
Is this quarter scale by any chance? It's not quite that big, I don't think.
Again, this is Glenn Misselhorn from Chester, Illinois, with his Goldberg Ultimate bike in the air. I would assume flying one of these bi-wing planes might be a little more difficult than single-wing planes, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Well, not so much in the air as taking off and landing a lot of times. Sometimes
okay.
A little contrary when taking off, especially the tail dragger design. Kind of like the nose over sometimes.
Sure looks pretty. Some typical questions that people sometimes ask: how long can they stay up there?
How long?
Your answer would be?
10 minutes maybe.
Really?
Typically it's based upon, of course, the size of the fuel tank, which normally range from about 4 to 8 ounces, depending on the size of the plane, but bigger motor takes more gas, so the time factor is about the same. Typically, though, you like to bring them down under power rather than dead stick and let them run out of gas.
We might mention also that just as in real airplanes, there are sailplanes which require no fuel, and there are also sailplane RC models.
That's right. So far, nobody in the club, though, although Ike has, let's say, dabbled in or flown gliders, but I never have seen him myself.
Well, that takes some precision flying, unless you want to walk, quarter mile down to get your plane when it does finally lose its lift and ultimately has to come down to the ground.
Yeah, but today they get really sophisticated. They have down aircraft locators on them.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Especially the free flight models.
Nothing simple anymore, is it? They get more and more sophisticated.
High tech.
Sight for my writing here. Ace 420, SIG 4-star.
SIG 4-star.
SIG 4-star. Now that shows up, that neon shows up real well in the sky.
Yeah, but put it against an overcast sky, and it still I don't think does quite as well as white.
You like white.
I like white.
Donnie will always fly a white plane. Oh, that's pretty. Straight up there. Bill Lang's been flying for quite a while. Upside down. Low and slow and upside down. Not easy.
And don't forget, which is up, which
yeah,
is down.
exactly. Slight twist of the controls and you're building another kit, aren't you?
Could you go over to the tent and get me a glass of water?
What's that big RC plane up there? You see that? Who's controlling that? Ha, ha, ha.
I am.
Little joke here. You are, yeah. All the way from Florida. Did you bring something, Nelson?
Me, my wife and little girl.
Can't fly them.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Greg could take them up and throw them out. Parachute.
Very nice. And of course, if the engines quit for whatever reason, they run out of fuel or something just isn't working right, they glide them down just like you would a general aircraft. And hope that you can land it fairly close to where you're standing so you don't have to walk a great deal. How do you do on that wheel? Did they give up? I don't see anyone out there anymore.
And that's always, I don't see how they can find anything.
Yeah. We might have to come back after the first frost or something after those weeds are dead. On static display, and of course some planes will be in the air. After the show, feel free to come and take a gander at all the planes and be sure to ask the pilots any questions you might have for them. Certainly appreciate our friends from the Illinois side of the river coming over right now. Bill Lang from the Breezy Hill RC Club has his neon orange Ace 420 SIG 4-star in the air. Sounds like a mosquito. Sounds like he might be coming in. He's cut the throttle way back. Barely running. Or is it running? Is that dead stick?
No, it's still going.
Still going? Oh, now it's dead
yeah,
stick.
dead.
All right. Riding the wind down. Excellent. Very good. Very
Glenn Curtin's going to fly next. Glenn Curtin.
Okay, very good.
That's the senior cadet.
All right, we've got another member just about ready to go. Glenn Curtin. He too is from the Chester, Illinois area, member of the Chester Club. 16 years old. He tells me he bought that plane. He hasn't put together a kit, but that's certainly in his future.
South to southwest. Today out of work, it was out of southwest or west.
He's getting ready to start his engine here. Is that what's called, your engine? Is that correct terminology here for these RCs? Are they starting the engine? Is that right?
That's what I would call it.
Okay, just making sure. Because I know there's servos and all that involved. And servos are just the controls, I suppose, huh?
Those are the
radio
devices
controls.
that actually couple to the flying surfaces and make them move. They're inside the fuselage. You can't see them. I noticed this one is 3-channel.
Okay. You want to leave that here?
For what? I think it's out. Would it be out? I took 3 pictures. It acted like it went out.
Yeah, it's out. I was going to take a picture of that kid. That's okay.
I did.
No, the winner.
Oh,
That's
who
okay.
is it?
I got another roll. That kid who's been hanging around.
Oh, good.
Dead engine.
Not quite enough airspeed, and engine wouldn't stay up.
Better to abort the landing there. Get a lot of exercise, don't you?
Yeah.
While they're seeing what's up with their plane
there. If they
there.
don't stay running, or you're still learning how to bring it down close to you.
Visual cues, don't you?
That's right. Looks like the wind is a little
Yeah, it might be a little
aggravating
breezy
as far
for it.
as
What that cub of mine likes to do.
Getting it under control here. Again, that's a cadet senior flown by Glenn Curtin, Chester, Illinois. Yeah, it looks like it might be a little breezy.
just a little bit strong for into the wind.
Good. Yeah.
It can get tense, let me tell you. It can get tense.
And when you pull it out at the last minute, that's when it's really exciting, huh?
Yeah, if you want some white knuckle experience, this will do it.
This'll do it, huh?
It's rather exciting if you take the time to put one of these things together and take the effort to learn about it and then get out there and actually do it. It's a pretty good high.
A lot of self-satisfaction there. And you don't want to blow it. You know, you've invested too much time and energy into it.
Well, that's why I like to get acquainted with somebody that has had the experience and have made the mistakes already and can help you along.
Exactly.
So you don't get frustrated when you come out for the first time, fly a plane, crash it.
Exactly.
It gets a little aggravating. You can't walk home with a complete aircraft.
Right.
But some of us have done it the hard way.
Yeah. More than once. Well, you learn by every mistake, right? While Glenn is up there flying his cadet senior, we will announce the winner in our ultralight ride, John Donovan of Biltmore Street. John Donovan, you on the field?
Oh yeah, John.
Let's give John a hand. You want to come up to the
John
announcer's
is
booth?
starting to get involved with the RC hobby
Really?
himself.
We'll talk to him in just a second here. Why don't you stand right over here, John? In the meantime, we'll tell our pilot, Greg Reminger, that we have our winner and to be pre-flighting and maybe getting that cold twin star ready to go in just a bit. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
You've been hanging around the strip all day, haven't you?
Yeah.
Good for you.
This is, I'm sure, a highlight for him.
Yeah, have you flown before?
Never.
Not in anything, huh?
Nuh-uh.
So you don't know what this bird's eye view looks like, huh?
Nope.
Well, you'll find out in just a bit. And Glenn Curtin.
One advantage of these slow flyers is it gives you time to think. If you move up in the sport and get in these higher speed planes, you have less and less time to think about what you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. More time you have, the more assured you are of a landing.
So that's why they have various types of planes for the purposes of getting acquainted with the plane as far as its flight characteristics are concerned. Slow flyers are what a beginner ought to really start out with.
And you can never just stop at the beginner stage. Once you get the bug, you have to keep going up and up and up, faster and bigger, faster and bigger.
There's a great variety of avenues for you to take.
Exactly.
There's a number of different planes out there. They're all different. It's just a matter of what appeals to you. Dead stick?
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
No sound.
It's a pretty sound, huh? What do they think about you getting this right?
They ain't here.
Oh, they're not here. Well, you'll have something to tell them, won't you?
Yes.
You've been watching the planes over here fly a lot?
Mhm.
Yeah?
I have one of my own. I have two.
You do?
Yeah.
RCs?
Yeah.
Oh, have you flown them?
I never flown none of them.
You haven't?
I bought one used and I bought a kit.
Well, you're just kind of taking your time. You got to learn all about this aviation stuff?
Yeah.
Well, good. You got the bug, huh?
Mhm.
So what do you think it's going to be like up there?
I don't know.
You don't know? Don't have any idea? What do you think it's going to feel like?
Cool.
You think it'll be cooler, huh?
I hope.
Which will help on a day like this, won't it? Well, we're going to let you go up in just a few minutes, and when you come back down, we want to talk to you again and see how you liked it.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
All right, thanks, John. John will be getting ready for his ride with our pilot, Greg Reminger, and the Cold Twin Star. It's an experimental aircraft, more akin to a heavier plane to carry two people. You typically have to carry more fuel if you want to go any distance, and of course the speed is more as well.
You might tell everybody that was Glenn Curtin's first solo. First
Oh,
takeoff
now
and
this
first
we
landing.
did not know. That was
We
Glenn
did not know
Curtin's
that.
first
That was
solo.
great. That was his first solo.
I think they kept that a secret from us so it wouldn't intimidate him or put more pressure on him than was due. I was under the impression
that
he
was
was flying
great.
for a while. Terrific job for a solo. You'll turn your attention to the sky. We missed Ike's takeoff there, but this is a cute plane. This is phenomenal. This is called a round to-it.
Round to it. This will show you about anything can be made to fly.
Isn't that wild? How does that fly? Tell me how that flies.
Angle of attack.
Angle of attack, that's it?
That's basically it because it don't have an airfoil.
That is incredible.
Like a typical aircraft wing. So it's strictly angle of attack as far as I'm concerned.
That is crazy. That is really crazy. The round to-it.
He'll turn on a dime.
Definitely.
When do you want me to get the ride?
Whenever you're ready.
Well, I'll
You
get
can't
him in,
turn
fire
like
up,
that
and
with a
we'll take off.
All right.
Aircraft.
Only make it like a 10 or so minute flight.
I'll watch for anybody out and I'll land when you get
Tell him to come over here when he's done. We want to talk to him. You know, this is one of the stranger planes. I guess you can call it a plane. I don't. It's got a rudder.
Yeah.
It's got an engine.
It's got kind of a combination elevator aileron arrangement in the back.
They've got some crazy things though. They're flying lawnmowers and oh, give me some more examples. I know there's all.
Snoopy's doghouse.
Yeah, dog houses. There's all kinds of crazy configurations where you just shake your head and wonder how they can fly.
An ironing board.
An ironing board, is that right? That's funny. Oh, we have a dead stick with the round to it. No problem for Ike. Glides right in. Maybe we should have moved or cut a few more of those weeds down today. Takeoff roll. There we go. Boy, he's up in a hurry. That plane's got some speed.
Yes, it does. Flies with good authority.
Ooh, look at that. Straight up. Straight down.
iPad. Roll.
Ah, that's a pretty one. 4-point roll. Not easy maneuvers to do. Let's see, I have written down here, is this his laser 200? Is that a laser 200? John Hunsaker from Carbondale.
To be able to fly like this, he's had a lot of hours in this guy.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, it looks like we have a dead stick here. It gets so quiet. Here he comes in, looking good. Very good. Well, let's see, John. You're 2 dead sticks and 1 lost wheel tonight. Thanks so much. Good job. When he goes by, let's all wave to him, all right? As soon as they go by us, let's all give John and Greg a wave. We'll see how nervous John is if he waves back or if he's just intently looking straight ahead. That's quite a thrill when you first break ground. You don't know quite what to expect. Greg will first run up the engine down there, just as they do the RCs. You always check your engine out before you get on full takeoff roll. He'll check the rudder controls. He'll check the aileron controls. Put in a notch of flaps. This plane is run by a Rotex 503 engine. There we go on takeoff roll. Let's all wave to him now. See how nervous John, oh, he must be enjoying it. Look at that. All right. Greg gave a very conservative takeoff there. With John being such a light passenger, he could have taken off a lot faster than that. But first time passengers, he likes to really take it easy and give them a nice, gentle flight, so they're not intimidated by it or anything.
Does he have any of those little bags on?
No, unfortunately you don't. In that case, you just tell your passenger to lean way over. Way, way over.
Didn't he take somebody up once that did have a problem with
Yeah, yeah, we won't name names, but yes, he did. Yes, he did. It can happen. That was an extremely bumpy day, and they're going off into the wild blue yonder. He'll give him about 10 minutes.
First name Mike?
Who, the passenger
Yeah.
now? No, it's John Donovan.
No, the one that had the problem.
Oh, no, we're not going to name names.
Oh, okay.
We won't do that to him. No, it wasn't Mike, by the way. Looks like Ike has another plane ready to go here.
Junior Tiger. Yeah, this is Junior Tiger.
Junior Tiger, Ike Rutherford, on about a 10-minute or so flight around the city of St. Genevieve, his first time view from the air. And Ike's up. With his Junior Tiger.
I don't know, that engine doesn't sound
Yeah,
too
I
well.
was wondering about that myself. Yeah, looks like he's coming in here. Something isn't quite right.
Doesn't sound like it's revving up. Whoa!
Whoa! Pilot injured by
No,
his
you can-
RC.
Only dare
Well-
catch the gliders.
Oh, it happens, doesn't it, Ike? Yeah, I just mentioned about the heat. The heat has a definite factor on it, heat and humidity. These planes fly so much better on a cool morning or a nice fall day. The engines just love cold weather, even in the heart of winter. When you have,
Heavier air.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. When you have, 20, 30 degree weather, they just love it. Looks like he might be giving him a view of Biltmore Street over there where John lives. Giving him a view of his house from the air. That's Greg Reminger flying John Donovan, 11-year-old from St. Genevieve. His first flight. We're going to talk to John after the flight, find out just how he liked it. Sounds like Ike's working on his Junior Tiger up there, trying to surmise the problem. Looks like he might have gotten the kink worked out there.
Found it?
You found the wheel pant. Well, good for you.
That was like finding a needle in a
Yeah,
haystack.
exactly.
Who said it couldn't be done?
Exactly. It's kind of a pretty sight, that cold twin star up there, silhouetted against the sun. Yeah, he's giving him a good view of St. Genevieve. like it might be a little healthier now on Ike's engine. There we go, trying it again. Ike Rutherford. Now, would this be considered a little more advanced plane in terms of pilot skill, or?
Pilot skill, it's smaller. Sometimes these smaller.
Ooh, some nice rolls there. We might mention some of the things too that the pilots have to be aware of. Using those radio controls, especially if there's more than one or two guys on the field, it's kind of obvious they can't all be on the same frequency, or they're going to have some interference there, aren't they?
Yes, that's one very important thing you have to be careful of, is that if there are more than one, you'd be on different channels.
Or your plane will be going where the other guy thinks his is going. Here comes Ike in. Low pass. How about that's harder to do than actually getting way up there in the air, that slow flyby?
Yeah.
Keep that under control like that?
Don't run into somebody else.
Yeah, or yourself.
Right.
That's one thing you'll notice, these pilots, their eyes have to constantly be on the plane. You take your eyes off that plane for just a second or two, and it takes you every bit that long or longer to find it again once you take your eyes off of it.
Yeah, if you notice, he's flying it close in. And,
yeah.
Here again, it's a matter of you really take a look at the area he's covering. It's not that far. Well, you can't get this plane too far away from you.
Right.
You're gonna lose it.
You ever get a stiff neck when you're out there?
Sometimes it could be a faulty radio.
Mm-hmm.
But the technology has gotten to the point on these transmitters and receivers that they've gotten pretty dependable over the years.
Yeah. Looks like Greg is dropping in altitude. He might be on a downwind for final with his passenger taking a first flight, John Donovan, 11 years old. We'll find out how John liked his ride.
I'm going to be hearing it for a week.
Is your brother? Or?
It's my friend.
Oh, great.
I'm going to be hearing it for a week.
Come over sometime. We'll give you a lot.
Okay. I'll try.
We'll be over a lot this summer.
Then you can talk about it for a week. You can talk about it for a week.
Yeah, Greg's definitely on final approach here.
Give him an earful.
Coming in for a nice landing. Nice gentle touchdown. 3-point landing, perfect. All right, first flight. John Donovan, how was your first flight?
It was fun.
It was fun?
Yeah.
What'd you like best about it?
Going over the river and stuff.
Why did it look different than you thought it would?
Yeah.
What'd you think it would look like?
Looked like, I don't know. It looked like you're going real slow, but you are going fast.
Uh-huh. Did you see your house?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did it look like from the air?
Couldn't really see because there's trees around.
Oh, I see. What sights did you see on the ground that looked totally different than you thought?
Everything's flat.
Everything's flat, huh?
Yeah.
Did you get to take the control stick?
No.
No? Didn't let you fly it, huh? Not just, well, maybe your second flight will let you do that. Got to build up to these things. So what do you think about your first flight? Are you going to tell people, yeah, I really like this flying stuff?
Yeah.
You think so? What do you go tell all your friends? Son, it's plane. His son hasn't flown it totally yet, but he's getting into the picture. It's a nice hobby they can do together, wouldn't you say, Don?
Yeah, it can be a good father-son project to get one of these planes built off the board and in the air.
That's a tower trainer that Wayne is flying there. That would be considered a beginner, would it not?
Yeah, it would be. It's considered a plane that you could. Oh, they don't seem to be responding to.
Got a dead stick here with the tower trainer. Picking up a little speed there. All right. Good job. Good job. The exception, he doesn't seem to have a desire to move up to the bigger, faster planes. He's perfectly content with this nice little flyer.
Yeah, you can go as far as you want as long as your pocketbook holds out, or
yeah,
if it's not a matter of going up, first expense goes up with the size of the plane, but you can stop anywhere you want.
Yeah.
And just enjoy.
We got Bill Lang up there too. We got a couple in the air now. That's when it's fun. You hear a lot of buzzing when there's a couple up there at one time.
In fact, we may get another one.
Keep in mind, when there's more than one plane up there too, it helps to have a spotter because the pilot's eyes are on his plane only. They don't have the time to be glancing back and forth at the other pilot's plane. So you're definitely responsible for your own plane, and it helps to be aware of where the other flyers have their plane. John flying his upside down. Johnny's got his trainer up there. Kind of have the two ends of the spectrum there. You got a very slow flyer and a somewhat fast flyer there. What is a pretty time of night? Sun going down. Looks can be deceiving there. Again, my name is Steph Breminger, and alongside me is Donnie Rapp. We certainly appreciate you coming out to the St. John Flying Strip here and watching some of our activities. This is an annual event. Every Jour de Fete we try and have this. Usually have a little bigger turnout than this, but the heat has definitely foiled more than a few plans this weekend, I think. One upside down, one doing a loop there. Again, that's Johnny Berthold in the trainer, and John Lang, or Bill Lang, I'm sorry, from Chester, Illinois.
For those of you who move on into retirement, John picked this hobby up after he retired.
You drink any of that crystal light?
Yeah, that's good.
I buy it bulk and then make my own.
You make your own? Oh, I see.
Yeah, you can buy it in the
right.
little. I like to buy it as low calorie. It's only 5 calories and 12 ounces.
That's good stuff. I think Bill definitely likes to fly his better upside down than right side up. You can kind of watch him. They got kind of a body English to him there. Kind of like bowling, I guess.
Well, you notice John's doing it at relatively low altitude.
Yeah, he is.
If I were to do that, I'd make sure I was way up there.
I think we'll probably get 3 or 4 up at one time here before the night's over. Boy, looks can be deceiving, doesn't it? They look a lot closer than they are, don't they? And again, they're both on different frequencies, so they don't interfere with the radio controls on each other's planes. We got another plane taxiing out here, Clarence Uding. It's either a Cadet Senior or a Cadet LT-40. I'm not sure which one he's got taxiing out there.
It's a senior, I believe.
So we'll have 3 planes up here.
This is another nice trainer.
Buzz, buzz, buzz. Looks like we've got one coming in here. Bill's plane. Very good. Excellent. Two planes up, Johnny Berthold.
You can see the difference in speed. He had
Clarence
3
Uding. Oh, yeah.
with the one he's picking up now. It's
Right.
much faster than these two, but these two are not the same in speed either.
Yeah, they are a little different. Even though they're both would be considered trainers, one's still a little faster. A couple of our braver pilots a few years ago did a dog fight. That was kind of fun to watch.
We didn't have any takers this year?
No, no takers this year. It's almost assuredly that someone will lose a plane when they do that, so you don't always get a taker for that. They fight to the finish. Looks like Johnny might be setting up for a final. Yeah, I think Johnny's coming in here for a nice landing. Touch and go.
Nice flyby.
Uh-huh. Here he comes in now for a landing. Johnny Berthold landing his trainer. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. He'll just taxi it. Come to Papa. Very good, Johnny. Thanks. Clarence Uding flying his plane up there. Cadet Senior. Again, there's a number of planes on the flight line that did not go in the air, but they're on static display. After the show, feel free to come by and take a look at all of them. Real pretty cub here. Bob Figge, why don't you tell us a little bit about this cub sitting here? Come on over and talk to us. Bob Figge, member of our club for a number of years now. Beautiful little cub there.
Oh, I guess it's about 6, 7 years old. It's got quite a few flights on it, a few crashes. It's powered by a Sato 4-cycle.
Easy to fly? Hard to fly?
Well,
depends on what time it is.
Easy to some or hard to others.
Bob, just a second. Would you say this one flies pretty much scale speed?
Yeah, it does. 1985, Cub had its 50th anniversary. A guy by the name of Charlie Piper came out in 1935 with the first Cub. And I think it originally sold for about $1,150. And today, a well-maintained Cub will go for $20,000 to $25,000.
Hey.
Barnstorm there, didn't he?
Pulled it out of the fire, Clarence. Clarence Uding up there with his trainer. All right, we're going to try this again.
Going to have this on Channel 7 a couple times this week or just one time?
Is it 1:15 or 1:30 Tuesday?
2.
All right, he's got her down now. A little touch and go there.
He had his pilot license one time, didn't he? Oh, he done? I thought he flew for a while.
Boy, those go so slow when they come in for a landing, don't they? All right. Good job, Clarence. Yeah, exactly. All right, looks like Ike's going to take his round 2 up again. Gets a round 2 flying it. He flies it. He kind of reserves that for our air show every year. He doesn't fly that on a regular basis. Kind of keeps that special. That's the Hooters plane getting ready to take off. Oh, most definitely. Well, we'll see if John has another dead stick here, if he's 3 for 3 tonight, or if he loses another wheel fan, which they found. Looks like they took them both off, though. Picks up speed, then zooms it up. It's like a real aircraft. Ah, nice. Like a little hammerhead there. Barrel roll. It's John Hunsaker from Carbondale, Illinois. We sure appreciate our Illinois friends coming over and entertaining some of the St. Genevieve spectators over here. Is it different flying on this side of the river?
Is the air any different?
Yeah, is the air any different, right. Flying upside down with that Hooters plane. Boy, he gets low with that, doesn't he?
Well, that's good.
You got to be
that
real
takes some
good
talent,
there.
let me tell you.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Then we have Ike Rutherford with his round to it. Boy, that round to it, sometimes it just looks suspended there. Yeah. Can that stall, by the way, Ike? You can hear us? I don't know if that's, I guess they'll stall. I don't know. Looks like the round to it's coming in, doing a land to it. Yeah. Have you ever caught that? Coming in for land? No, he shakes. That would be a good trick. Why don't you work on that for next year? There's that Hooters plane. Ooh, nice job. As the sun goes down, the mosquitoes begin to come out. Well, that's about it for now. We hope you've enjoyed some of the activities we've had this weekend at the St. Genevieve Flying Club's airstrip in St. Gen. We've learned a lot about gyrocopters, about ultralights, and of course model airplanes. Until next time, I'm Steph Greminger.